We have a special guest today, another interview. We're going to get to our Ask 5 questions, but we're excited to have Kathryn Bovard join us today, who's been a broker and a team leader, and she's going to share her wisdom.
Yeah, join us, if you will, on the WB&L podcast.
This is the Wandering But Not Lost WB&L podcast, where real estate and reality meet. And now your hosts, Jan O'Brien and Matt Emerson.
Welcome to the WB&L Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where real estate and reality meet. This is episode 226. You can find all of our show notes over at WB&Lpodcast.com. Jan O'Brien, we're going to have Kathryn Bovard, friend of the show, on today. We love Kathryn Bovard.
Yes, definitely. I've known Kathryn. I don't. She'll probably remember, but it is definitely more than 20 years. And we've been through different companies together. We're going to let her talk a little bit about what her backstory when she comes on, but we're excited to have her join us, talk about how she's leveraging our sales builder program, because she's back to building a team. We all come full circle, right? Go from broker, familiar stories, so we're excited to have her on.
Never say you're not going to do something else again in real estate, because you always do. That's just the way that works. All right, let's bring her in. Kathryn Bovard, welcome to the podcast studio.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for inviting me here today. I'm honored to be here with the two of you. Probably the two people who have influenced me most in real estate, in the real estate industry and world. So it's my pleasure and honor to be here for you. The market is changing. Those are my bywords to my agents. The market is changing.
It's good. And Kathryn, at the top of the show, I was talking about you've kind of come full circle from being an agent. Can you just take a few minutes and remind people, you've been on the show before, but just give us the brief where you've come from and where you find yourself now in your real estate career.
Okay. Well, I think like everybody else, I started off as a real estate agent, buying and selling. Not to sound like I have a big head, but I think I tell people if I can do it, anybody can do it. At one time, I was the second top producing agent in the Southwest. That includes California and Arizona. I then went on to become a broker. I worked for Prudential, and right before the last couple of years before I left, I ran the number one top producing office in the country for Prudential. And that's with the NAR, not just within the Prudential family, but the actual number one office in the whole country. And then I moved and went to another company, and for 4 or 5 years ran the top producing company, brought that office up to number one. Before I opened up my own brokerage, decided, why not do it for myself, right? Which I did. And sold that last year and got out of the business. I just have now a small team of agents. I'm with a boutique brokerage, and I have about 18 agents. And so they're a mix of experienced, and I just hired a new agent this last week. And I'm so grateful for the courses that WB&L offers, because I use that with all of my agents. I find that the success of my running the offices that I did and now is taking that one-on-one individual coaching with them, rather than just saying, okay, watch some videos online, go into a classroom of 30 people, that cookie cutter approach. Whereas the training that I do based on what you have allows me to tailor it to the individual agent. So, life gets in the way sometime. I had an agent who started a couple of months ago in coaching. There was a family death. There was an illness. I just met with her again yesterday, and we just picked up exactly right where we had left off, because, the whole procedure is fully outlined. I mean, it's 12 weeks, of solid information to help the agent get from point A to point B. Sorry, probably more than you wanted to know, but yeah, that's my background now.
No, and you just basically set up the next question, which is how the key, I think, to our core program of Real Estate Sales Builder is to have the fundamentals there. And then it sounds like you have taken it so that because the success really comes from you helping your agents, correct, and giving them guidance, and then maybe what we're providing. Or can you explain a little bit about what's the benefit of using what we have to supplement the core, what you're doing, which is really make a difference.
Yeah. I think the difference, right? Jan, I mean, I can't tell you how many different kinds of training programs over the years for my agent. When I was at Prudential, when I was at my other company, I had an office of 400 agents. I've tried everything. I really have. I've had trainers come in and do that. That's not effective. There's not really that investment. There's not that, commitment to the agent's success. I think that agents get it when the broker actually sits down with them and tells them, I'm committed to your success. And this is exactly what we're going to do. And by the way, yes, I work for you. I'm your business consultant, as your broker. That's my job, is to help you build your business. So they really get the investment that I put into them. I have the luxury of, I don't just hire anybody. I hire agents who I know are committed to their career. So I'm sorry, what was the question? Why did I answer that?
The question is just that. So is there anything in particular in the modules that you particularly like, or do you just kind of follow through each week, or do you customize it, or how do you leverage the core material that we have to supplement your training and coaching program for your team?
Right. So yes, I do. So I go through the 12 modules, and we usually, in an ideal world, would set it up one module a week. Now, I have some agents who are so busy, right? And we all know these agents who do 30 or 40 transactions and they have no systems in place whatsoever, right? So I have to even start with them from pretty much the beginning. Let's put together a business plan. I mean, that's key. I liken this to saying, it's like you're buying a franchise, a Starbucks. Nice. You don't go into buying a Starbucks without having a business plan. As a business owner, which you are, you own your own business. Let's start off with a business plan. So yes, I leverage that fully, even with agents who've been in the business 10 years, because honestly, 99% of them don't even have a business plan.
That's right.
That's why I have coaching clients.
Yeah, that's when you get to point. So you got to start at point A, and then you got to know where's point B. You want to close 40 transactions. All right, we're going to analyze where your businesses come from, and where are we going to add additional sales. And so the whole marketing comes in, like the module 11, which is about marketing, niche marketing. If they're fairly new, I mean, I'm going to tell you, we're going back to some of the old tried and true old schools. I see agents who are doing open houses. I think that's module 3, right? Mm-hmm. To really put a system together, not just to throw out a couple of signs, but to work with them and putting up a system and creating, a consistent open house that's calendared, that they know what social media sites they're going to post on. They have an open house template. I mean, all of the things, we follow it step by step through the module. Agents are like amazed. They're like, oh my God, this is, it's like finding the Holy Grail kind of. It's it's
kind of funny how they're like, they want all the materials, right? Like, I don't know if they're going to all do something with it, but the people that are new and exciting, it's fun to work with them, right? I know you enjoy working with the newer folks that really have that something, right? That little spark, that's something we were just talking about, Matt and I, I will work with a newer agent if I feel like they're going to put the work in, right? And that's who you have on your team. I know you do.
Yeah. I mean, listen, when I do an interview, I ask them for their commitment. I'm like, have you ever played any sports where you had a coach? This is about accountability, and really, so it's a twofold success. I think having a 12-week training program, and then I do quarterly, and then I do twice a year, just to always tweak and stay in touch with them. But to have a complete outline of what we're going to do, and then the accountability is with me. So every week we have action items, complete your business plan, put together your open house template, whatever those are. Then they meet with me again that next week, and I go through those action items. Did you do this? Did you do this? So we're moving forward through their business. And, you know, at the end of 3 or 4 months, sometimes it takes an agent 6 months, right? That's why I'm saying this is so great, because I can tailor it to my agent's need. It's not about them working for me. It's about me working for them.
So, Kathryn, before we jump into the 5 questions we like to ask everybody that we interview, you said something a moment ago that made me think of this. How are you helping you mentioned when you first came on, the market is changing and it's always changing. What kind of advice are you giving your agents right now to adjust to get out there and find the business?
Yeah. So I'm counseling my agents now that I think a more personal approach, right, is really sort of the top of the marketing tools to use. I think those blanket, we know blanket emails, sort of the non texts that you send out that really aren't personalized, the non-personalized marketing isn't as effective, right? You're throwing away marketing dollars. So it really depends on, again, how the agent feels. Now, I have some agents, they don't want to do open houses. I still think right now, I know we're going into a strong buyer's market, but I think right now, getting face to face with clients, potential buyers. I mean, Jan, you just do the math. An open house here in Las Vegas, if you do it the right way and you do all of the pre-work beforehand, you can average maybe 10 people at each open houses. You do 2 open houses a week. Let's face it, that's 8 hours a week of marketing. Any Harvard business says, you should be spending at least half of a 40-hour week in doing marketing. So that's 20. So 8 hours should be nothing for you. That's 20 people a week. That's 80 people a month. We know that most real estate agents, according to NAR, only work 10 months out of the year, right? That's 800 people right there that they're going to get face to face with. 800. Now, if they close 2.5%,
people take that all day.
Right. 2.5% out of 800, 20 transactions. This is a numbers game. Now real estate has turned into a big business, and it's a numbers game, but you still got to personalize it. So if you're going to get face-to-face, definitely open houses. If you're not going to do open houses, right, then you've got to find a niche market. And that depends on what your skill set is. Is it social media? Is it doing TikToks? I'm big, not Facebook, but I'm big on social media. I think that there's still opportunities for new agents to come in and create a market for themselves. It takes time, it takes consistency, and it takes discipline.
You just nailed it. Those are the 3 things. If everybody did that, they would be doing great. Those 3 things.
They absolutely would. And there are a couple of old standbys that I'm always going to recommend. And that's, please don't forget to do just listed, just sold postcards. Even if you get 1 transaction a year out of that, I mean, our average transaction is $12,000, right? So they're highly worth it. It should be just part of your closing package that you do. You do a just listed and a just sold. So that's kind of my recommendation.
All right, I love it. All right, Matthew, let's do the 5.
Ask 5. You are a great. You always come across with an agent as being really compassionate and really caring, and I think that's one of the reasons why you connect so well with your agents in the beginning and all throughout their career. So it must be nice for you actually to be in the team leader role right now, because it's so different than running a brokerage, right? Having a ability to train and to coach up 18 people is a heck of a lot different than coaching up 418 people, right? So it's a whole different world, and I'm glad that our training programs, working into your program as well. That's fantastic. Anyway, on to the top 5. Number 1 of the top 5. What is the best idea you take or you have for your SOI and your past clients? Really talking about database, talking about the people that are already in your database. What's your best idea for keeping them engaged?
So, NAR, they just came out with their buyers and sellers survey. And I think I'm not sure on the statistics, but I think 80% of the buyers who had bought a home didn't remember the name of their agent. I mean, that's just crazy numbers, isn't it? So staying in, that's my number one priority for my agents is for them to set up a database, right? And that's, once again, sorry, I'm going to go back to module 2 of the WBNL coaching, because it really, Matt, you would be amazed. I had, agents who were been in the business for 10 years, right? I have an agent in my office who, does 35, 40 closings, didn't have a database, does now, but didn't have a database, I mean, having that. So setting up your database so that you can stay in touch with your past clients in your sphere is critical to your marketing. People say, oh, I'm in real estate. What they should say is, I'm in marketing. Because if you're not marketing your business in real estate now, you're losing business. And staying in touch with your past clients. Listen, this is an old, we're kind of bringing out some of the old stuff here. But once again, I'm always about the personal touch. And I think they used to be called pop buys. But now I would recommend that my agents, so your first year clients, you stop by in January and you drop them off their closing report for their taxes. Then maybe every year, you've got all of this calendared, right? On their anniversary of buying their home, maybe you drop off a little happy anniversary with your AA batteries to change out their smoke alarms. Just find something that is personal and genuine and authentic for you. I know an agent who does every Thanksgiving. She does a lot of baked goods. Now, if you got a couple of hundred clients in your base, that's going to be a little, but I think she enrolls her kids and pays some high school kids, and they do drop offs. But who's doing those personal touches nowadays? I'm telling you, it's so effective, and it works so well. I think that it's a great way. So you've got a monthly newsletter that I think is really essential. I mean, I'm just going to say, if you're not doing anything else, just do a monthly newsletter that offers value. I don't want to see recipes. I don't want to see,
exactly.
I have an agent who's very big with animals, and she donates part of her commission to the ASPCA. So she, 60% of all people have dogs, right? So dog owners. So she always has something in her newsletter about animals, or, if you want to volunteer, or how much, she, contributed on her commission and what a difference it made. Those sort of things really come up, they're very authentic. And I think that's what you have to be now, is to be authentic and keeping in touch with your sphere and past clients.
I love the answer. There's two things there. One, it was about the personal face-to-face touch, Kathryn. I think there's nothing stronger than that. And then I just want to go down as saying it's database. See, Kathryn said database, not database.
Oh,
so thank you for that. It's a little inside joke here. David Squire and I always get into database versus database. And see, Kathryn said database, so I'm going with.
Well, then I guess that must be the way it goes.
Okay.
And so we have David on again.
Thank you for being on the database side.
Oh, boy.
All right. So this next question is, outside of, and you probably touched on it a little bit already, but whatever comes to mind, outside of doing things to generate business from your database, what would be an idea that you're sharing with your agents to generate new business? Not your database.
Sure. Well, once again, we tailor it to what the agent feels most comfortable with, right? That's really key. Go. Some agents, they're not going to do videos for social media, right? So we've got to find another way for them to connect.
Okay.
So it's really an individual. But I mean, as I mentioned earlier, social media still a great way to connect with people on a large scale. And then, I think that open houses, and then your sphere, if you belong to one of my agents plays softball, and he probably does gosh, I don't know, 5 transactions a year from his softball connections. So, yeah.
There we go. So networking, it's so I like what I'm 100% on board with this because I do also believe you've got to find your niche. And part of what you're doing with your new agents, I'm sure, is helping them figure out what they're good at. Because if they're good at it and they like it and they're passionate about it, i.e., softball, pets, finding a way to do that, then they're going to keep doing it, right? That's we're on the same team there with that one. I
And
love
it's
it.
funny
Okay,
because
cool.
it's
Special. There's no easy answer. It's specific to each person. So that's a great answer.
but reaching out to the people that you're with all the time is such an easy angle, and it seems to be one that most agents avoid doing, which is so odd to me. I don't know.
I know.
Very interesting. All right, Kathryn, next question. I love this one. What holds you back?
It's a little self-reflective
Oh
question.
gosh, I mean, seriously, it's the same. It's not just in real estate, but it's what holds you back in life. I think is fear of failure. I hopefully at this age, I'm like, not like I haven't failed before. So just go for it. Just try it. See how it works. And another, I mean, when I talk about fear of failure, I mean, the worry and concern that comes about before you do something, right? For the first time. And I try to take the same advice that I tell my agents is don't let that fear stop you from getting to where you want to be. Yes, recognize it. Gosh, this is really scary. This is, the first time I do a presentation or whatever. But I know just like anything I embrace in life, I'm going to get better at it. I'm going to do better and move forward.
All right, feel the fear and do it anyway. There it is.
Yeah, it's the whole coaches have the worst time with the do as I say, not as I do syndrome. It's very interesting. So that's just the way that works.
All right, so here, this doesn't have to be related to real estate. We like to ask people, is there something that you recommend that's inspired you, people, books? It could be something you're reading or some program you've done, or what's something, sometimes people want to know, like maybe share it with your agents if there's certain books to read or anything. Anything that's
or wine.
Or wine? Okay, yeah. Okay, good. All right. Yeah, what's your favorite streaming
I find
show right now?
Matt always helps me think better.
Right. See, that is very good advice.
I mean, I said at the top of the show that there are probably 2 people who have influenced me in real estate. I mean, other than the fact that, Tom Ferry, I mean, all of the real estate gurus on that level. And of Brian Ferry, by Business by Referral, all of those. I think I've taken small parts of what I feel they offer and incorporated it into sort of my larger foundation of real estate. But I mean, 2 people, honestly, Jan and Matt, I'm not just smokescreening here, but you 2 have both been very influential in my real estate business. And then, I as Jan knows, I watch a lot of TED Talks. I'm a certified mediator. Jan and I just wrote a class on Mediations 101, conflict resolution. So there's some amazing, our business is a lot about resolving conflicts, right? Conflicts between other agents and your clients and your broker and all of that. So it's a great, there's a great video out there for that. TED Talks, I think, Brene Brown, I mean, there's just a lot of meat there to whatever kind of way you want to go.
Good. That's a really good one. Absolutely. Excellent.
Right. And then last of our Ask 5 is, what really is your best advice for agents, how they can really thrive in 2023, but not just 2023, just 2023 and beyond? What's the best advice that's just going to take their career throughout their career?
Rory already hit on it, but we could close on it.
I think, as I did say earlier, the market is changing. And so it's imperative that you change your marketing. I've seen, in 20 years, and, I went through the foreclosure. I've seen buyers markets. I've seen sellers markets. Staying in touch with your sphere is key, right? Setting up your database, staying in touch with them on a regular basis, but also make sure that your marketing and what you're doing is, at the top level that it can be, and make sure that you're giving value to your clients.
Beautiful.
Perfectly said.
Couldn't have said it better.
That's right.
All right. Hey, Kathryn, thank you so much for your wise words of wisdom. That's a little bit of an alliteration, but we're so on track there. You said so many things that are what are the basis of what we coach and train in WBNL. I feel like we train a lot the same way ourselves. You mentioned that we do some training together, which is always so fun. So thanks for sharing that, because it's really nothing new, right? It's back to the basics. It's do the basics. I like what you just said about the market has changed, so your marketing better change. That's really good, because if you're not open to changing, then you'll be left behind. So that is a great thing to leave with everybody today, is that where are you in that change? Are you keeping up with, or actually, are you a little ahead of the change, so that you can take advantage of that and not be left behind? I think those are some great words. Thanks for taking time to share all that with us today, and what you're doing to be successful with your now team, which is a lot more fun. I think I don't know if we'll agree, but I am certainly having more fun in real estate with the team and doing some real estate than doing that broker thing. So, I don't know about you, but
So, Kathryn, we talked about real estate and blah blah blah. Tell me what you're doing. What are you doing for fun for you in your own personal life? How are you enriching and rounding out the whole work-life balance?
And let me just say that I think right now is a great time to be in real estate, right? I mean, it's just the interest rates. Come on, 6%. Like, I sold it when it was like 18%, right? So this is certainly a cakewalk. I think it's just there's so much opportunity out there, and there's still so much business out there, even though it's dropped off from last year, but there's still, tremendous opportunities. So I started playing pickleball, the new rage, right? A little over a year ago. So, that my yoga practice keeps me physically, and I have a little puppy that I have to walk a couple of miles every morning as well. So, I enjoy that time. And I think it's important for everyone to have some part of their day where they can just, be grateful, right? That they have all of the gifts that they do, and they can enjoy them, if it's their family and friends and their health, and, just taking that moment of gratitude. I don't want to sound like airy fairy, but I know for me, it kind of levels out the day, if I can spend my day like that. Travel is always in the picture for me, Matt. I'm a national, I'm on the committee for federal fair housing. So I'll be going to Washington in May for that committee. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm pretty active in my community. I'm vice dean of faculty. Next year I'll be dean of faculty. So I train and teach at our board as a way to give back as well. I enjoy teaching a great deal, and as you know, having a team, even administrative was never my strong suit. Coaching and training I love, and I would always do. So having a team for me is ideal, and not having all of the administrative duties and things that make me crazy, that when you run a company or when you own a company that you have to do, because let's face it, 50% of your time is that admin work. So I'm in an ideal spot now because, I've got a team, and I love the training and the coaching. So it's just all working well. Thank you. And such an honor to be here with the two of you. Thank you for inviting me.
We are so excited that you joined us today. And I love what you talk about gratitude. I got a new Apple Watch not too long ago, and every morning about 7:00, it comes on there and gives me a mindfulness tip. Today it said, ask me, who am I grateful for today? And I'm not kidding, both of you. And I said, I'm grateful for Dan O'Brien and Kathryn Bovard because they are influential and inspirational in my life. So my watch was telling me to be grateful today. So, which is kind of a nice thing anyway. So that's where we'll leave it. Kathryn, thanks again. You can find all of these show notes over at WBNL Podcast. Oops, not that. That's not it. WBNLpodcast.com. This was episode 226. And just, get up, get out, everyone. Live the life you've dreamed and be forever wandering, but not lost. Bye.